Hello and welcome back to the channel. I hope you like my little setup today. I feel like this is the best I could do in my little bedroom in 10 minutes, so I hope you like it. So this is a bit of a different video I'm making today, but it's one I've wanted to make for quite a while. Basically, I have a weird health problem that nobody really knows exists. I can't burp. I cannot release air like upwards. But it's really strange, right? I've burped probably 3 times this year, but it's November, and they weren't like normal big burps. They weren't, controllable. They were completely uncontrollable, completely random, tiny burps that are basically completely insignificant. Although every time I have one, I'm kind of amazed and impressed and kind of wish I could do them every day, but I can't. And I know what you might be thinking, right? Big deal. You can't burp. You can probably still pass gas in other ways, and yes, I can. But not being able to burp comes with some very annoying side effects. And I thought I'd talk about my experience with it today because nobody really knows about it. It's actually got a name. It's called No-Burp, or a more technical word called R-CPD, which stands for, and bear with me because this is extremely hard to say, retrograde scricopharyngeal dysfunction. I've butchered that, but honestly, like, what even is that? But yeah, I thought this video would just bring a bit of awareness to No-Burp or RCPD. And also, if you know me in real life, you probably don't know that I have this, and that's just because it's quite awkward to say that I can't burp and it has these side effects in real life. So if you know me in real life, great, you can watch this video if you're interested, and then I don't have to tell you in real life, basically. And lastly, I thought it could just bring a bit of relief to people who also have the condition, because I've never met anyone in real life who has the same thing as me. So I'm guessing anyone out there who does, this video might just bring you a bit of relatability and honestly a bit of comfort knowing that someone else out there is going through the same thing. So why can't I burp, right? According to Google, it happens when someone's scricopharyngeus, basically a muscle in your throat, just doesn't relax and doesn't let air come up and basically allow you to burp. I have no idea why it doesn't work properly. I can't find information online about it. My mum says that I burped completely normally as a baby, so I don't know why the muscle has just decided not to work, or when it decided not to work. The first time I noticed it was actually at prom when I was 15, when I was finishing secondary school. It got bad at prom for the first time, and I noticed the effects. So yeah, why is it a problem that this muscle doesn't work? Why is it an annoying thing to have? I've written here, can't you just fart a little bit more to compensate for it? And yeah, kind of, but also no. Even though I can't burp, right, my body still holds like the air or gas in my stomach or my throat, and it still has the intention to burp. But because I can't burp, the pressure of the air and gas just kind of like builds up inside me, and then it just gets quite uncomfortable. And this is when it starts to impact me. Essentially, the more air that gets inside me through eating or talking or laughing, or honestly, like, I don't even know, the more I'll start to feel uncomfortable, the more pressure will kind of build up inside, and then it'll kind of start to give me pain. And if it continues to get worse and the pressure just keeps building up, it'll just become a bit more painful. And then my body will basically force, or try and force, the air out of me and basically make me throw up air, which is not fun at all, because basically you're throwing up nothing. The pressure is not leaving, and it just sucks. And what makes it worse, right, is that I get all this and I get the pressure building up mainly at social events where I am talking and I'm laughing and I'm having a good time. And I found that it also starts to come on, so I guess I'm somehow taking in more air into my body when I feel anxious, which is quite annoying as someone who sometimes feels a bit anxious towards social situations. So then that kind of becomes a loop. So I'm anxious about the social situation. So before I go there, I'm somehow getting more air into my body, and the pressure is kind of building up a little bit and I'm feeling it slightly, which then makes me a bit more anxious that this is going to start playing up when I'm at the social situation, which then adds to the anxiety. And yeah, it's not fun. Sometimes it's absolutely fine, but it's happened quite a few times where it hasn't really been. But it's also just really awkward to explain to people in real life that your chest has got pain because you can't burp and there's air building up inside you, and you're a bit quiet because you're afraid to talk as much because you don't want to bring in air because you can't burp because pressure builds up inside you. Like, it's just extremely awkward to talk to people about. Like, it just sounds stupid. It's definitely not something that's really easy to casually bring up to someone that you don't really know very well. It's almost like it's a bit too much information. Usually if I'm with my girlfriend and it's playing up, I'll just tell her that my chest hurts and then she knows what that means. But it's awkward with others because, like, if I say the excuse more than once, so like at 2 separate gatherings and then I leave or something, it just kind of sounds like an excuse because they've probably never heard of this thing before. Or if I just say my chest hurts, again, it just kind of sounds like an excuse. And on top of all this, right, you make these weird gurgling sounds. I've written down here, I've literally had a couple writing this script, probably because I'm thinking about it, which is the worst thing. Just thinking about it can make you start gurgling and start the whole process, which is just brilliant. But if I think about the gurgling stopping or the pressure going away, it doesn't go away. Anyway, the gurgles basically make me sound like there's a dinosaur in my throat. I think the gurgles is just my body putting air into my throat and then it just like not really going anywhere. So basically, right, there are 3 stages to having this no-burp thing. So stage 1 is gurgling, and the more I gurgle, the more kind of pressure builds up inside my chest and my stomach and throat area. And that leads on to stage number 2, which is getting chest pain from the pressure. And then over time, if more air just keeps entering my body, the chest pain will just keep like building up, and it will lead to the final stage, which is basically the throwing up air stage, except no air actually comes out. Literally nothing comes out. You just have a horrible experience. So the whole process can take however long because it's all just a result of how much air is getting into your body. So I've only ever gotten to stage 3 where I'm throwing up air about 4 or 5 times in my life, basically because I know the only trick that seems to help. Laying on my back. I think this position allows the gas or air to just pass quicker, but nothing else seems to help. But again, like, laying down in a social situation is just a really awkward thing to do because, like, where the fuck do you just lie down? I remember being at a party once when I was 18 and I laid down on a bench outside to reduce the pressure because I was starting to feel it. And everyone who saw me just thought I was passed out drunk. I was not drunk. I've actually never been drunk. I just can't burp. But yeah, I remember that day led me to throwing up air, which was not fun. Anyway, I don't really drink alcohol at all, so if I do attend a social gathering, I now kind of just drive every time. This way, if my chest does get bad, I can just put my car seat all the way down, lie down, and just hope nobody sees me. It is a bit of a weird requirement that I need my future car's seats to go all the way back down, but oh well. Fizzy drinks to me are like minuscule self-harm because I'm just knowingly putting air into my body. So I mostly just avoid them, especially in social situations. But they do just taste like amazing, especially when you don't drink them often. Like, that is actually incredible. When I'm at home, it doesn't affect me as much because if it gets bad, I can just lie down. But still, like, I don't want to be drinking these. So I found out if I put a straw in there and I blow a lot of bubbles, it will eventually get a lot more flat. Or I'll just open it like this, have a little bit of a taste, and then just put it in the fridge and let it go flat and maybe have it the next day or the day after. I know that sounds really weird, but otherwise I suffer. But yeah, consequently, I'm known as the person that drinks water everywhere. And to be honest, it saves me quite a lot of money. I have this water bottle and it's got a lot of dents in it, as you can see, because I've dropped it many times, but I bring it everywhere, basically. What I'm learning is that there's no point in hiding if you're in pain and just pretending it's all fine, because eventually you'll just start throwing up air and draw even more attention to yourself anyway. So if I am in pain, I just try and explain it as lightly as possible and then just go home. Even though it's awkward and I don't want to bring attention to myself, it is the truth, you know, I just have to do what I gotta do. And most people care and they just want you to be okay anyway. I've also gone to the doctors about it back in 2017, but they just had no idea what was going on. They did all these tests, I had a lot of tablets, but I think they thought it was just completely different, basically because they'd just never heard of No-Burp or R-CPD. So that's just brilliant. It is quite annoying to have this thing, and it's especially annoying because nobody knows about it, so it's quite hard to explain it. But most of the time, you know, it is fine. It doesn't really affect me day to day. And if it comes on, I can control it by laying down. I have no idea how many other people in the world or even in the UK have this condition, but I really do hope that the UK NHS will recognise it soon and provide treatment for it. You know, while this isn't something that I talk about often, or I'm not sure if I've ever spoken about this in a video before, I'm hoping that it can be beneficial and bring some awareness to this condition, and hopefully others like this are watching this and don't feel so isolated and alone after hearing that someone else is going through the same thing. It's good to share, you know, the highs and the lows, the good and the bad. If you do know me in real life and maybe you didn't know about this, well, now you do, and now I don't have to tell you in real life, which is great. But yeah, it's not the end of the world, it's not a dangerous condition or anything like that, but it is annoying, it is frustrating, especially in social situations, and it can make things awkward. But yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you're doing well, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Drink water.